Hey guys, Dave here. I wanted to do another video talking about, in my opinion, what are Benchmade's best folders. Now, as you can see, there are two knives in front of you. You can probably already guess what they are just by looking at them, especially if you're a Benchmade fan. So, a lot of people, if you were to ask them what is their favorite Benchmade knife, the majority of them would probably either say the 940 or the bug out. It depends on who you ask. The bug out has gained significant popularity over the last number of years, especially since its birth back in, what was it, 2017, 2016, something like that. I don't remember. But other than those two models, those are probably I should say, those are probably the most popular models they have out there. The Crooked River is also very popular. I know a lot of people like the mini Crooked River. The Griptilian or the mini Griptilian, a lot of people do like that. It is a good knife, well-made knife, highly recommended. Crooked River for me wasn't my favorite, but I just wanted to show you two of my favorite. Now, the Griptilian is a good one. I might put that in the list of like my top three or even top five, but it wasn't here because I wanted to just show you my top two favorite and what I believe to be their better models. So as you can see, first one here is the Benchmade Nakamura. This is the 484 in S90V. That gorgeous. Oh, did you look at that? Little mark on the blade. That's okay. I've been using it recently and it's been doing just fine. Beautiful. Almost like a dark stone wash. I really like the finish they have on these blades for the S90V models in carbon fiber. Beautiful carbon fiber. Blue pivot ring. Non-skeletonized liners. But blue standoffs and an extremely well-functioning MXG milled pocket clip. If you don't know mxggear.com, I'd highly recommend them. They're extremely well made and the best clips on the market, in my opinion. This knife, let me tell you guys, if you've never held a Nakamura, it melts in your hand. I mean, I have a large size glove hand, and I mean, each slight little groove in the handle just, like I said, it just melts. Your hand just melts into it, or it melts into your hand, however you want to describe it. The jimping is extremely functional, not quite as aggressive, or I shouldn't say aggressive, not quite as grippy as the Benchmade models, whether it's the Manix 2 or the PM2 or Para 3, but it is very functional. Probably Benchmade's best jimping on a folder to date, in my view, because they don't generally put a lot of jimping on their folders. The ergonomics, like I said, they're just stellar. They are so good. They are so good. Either grip, especially here, you can just rest your thumb on the back. I mean, it's a beautiful knife. It really is gorgeous. It's almost got like a slightly wider, it's similar. If you really like a bug out blade, you would like this. It's similar, a little bit shorter. It's like a 3.08 inch of a blade. It's just a skosh over 3-inch blade. It's a little bit wider though, so I think that use is better for cutting because of the geometry. The S90V is going to hold up just fine. There's the maker's mark too. Sorry, the lighting in here. I'm trying to get it to really stand out so you can see it. There you go. A little better. But let me tell you guys, this is phenomenal. Probably out of these two, it's tough. Anyway, this thing is just, so easy to middle finger flick too. I know I just kind of failed it there for a second, but thing is amazing. Amazing. The Benchmade Nakamura. Benchmade, if you're listening, I would love if you brought this model back, with a couple tweaks, and I don't mean anything, don't deviate from the original design, but if you wanted to improve action somehow or use different Omega springs, whatever, these are holding up fine. I have nothing against their Omega springs. I know a lot of people do, but the Nakamura is hands down, my opinion, one of their best models out of the two. Oh, and before I forget, this particular thumb stud is much more, it almost flares out rather than comes to a point. It almost has like a flaring effect, almost like a cone, but upside down. Like one of those orange cones, but it's like the tip of the cone is at the bottom, and it's facing upward. And that's, I don't know the way I can describe it, but it functions extremely well. Some people have reported that you could use this as like a wave feature when you're pulling it out of your pocket. It actually has caught my pants before, and I have used it like that, but that's not always a bad thing. Just know that your knife does that. You know what I mean? Just, excuse me, just be aware. But it's not a bad feature to have. If you want to be able to put it in your pocket and pull it right out, and it's deployed, it's ready to go. Or if you want to pull it out, you can pull it out. I have been able to pull it out of my pocket without running into any issues of not deploying it. So it's been perfectly fine. The next knife, I'll show you in just a second. Hold on. Sorry, guys, I had to step away for a second. So, the next knife, can you tell what it is? You probably can. I didn't bring it up close, but the Benchmade 943. Now, I have to say, when I first saw this model, I remember seeing it on sale at one of my local sporting goods stores, and it was like 50% off. And yes, this is that smooth. It's a little off-centered, but who cares? That doesn't bother me as much. The action is, as you saw, it's not running on bearings, but it is so stellar, guys. Just look at that. Oh, action. It actually bounces back so much. It sometimes doesn't even want to close the first time. Oh, well, I'll get it. Come on. There you go. So the Benchmade 943. When I first saw this model, I wasn't super impressed. I really liked the 940. But it was on sale, and I bought it. Not this one, but a different one. And I bought it, and I started using it and carrying it regularly. And it held up so well. I was so impressed. The ergonomics are very neutral, which means they're very good. This particular model, doesn't really have jimping. People call this jimping. I don't really consider this jimping. I think it's just the design of the liners on the inside, or if you, so regardless, the knife has excellent ergonomics just by the handle itself. It just works. You can rest your thumb very easily on top. Got a nice flat spot there. You can move it back a little further, your thumb, or a little forward. Just depends. This blade shape is extremely useful. A lot more than I gave it credit for initially. It's kind of like, I think it's called like a clip point. It's almost like, I guess, a cross between like a clip point / drop point / maybe even spear point. Way that it comes down to a nice tip. Not too thin, but a little. Hold on, get it to focus. I'm trying to get it to focus. Come on. It doesn't want to. Anyway, so this blade shape is extremely useful. I found it for my needs to be even more useful than the 940 model. So honestly, I don't know why they discontinued this. I thought it was a pretty popular seller. Maybe it wasn't. I don't have access to their books nor their numbers. But the 943 is an excellent model. Just the ergonomics, action is very robust. It is very sleek and slim. You can wear this with slacks, going to church or going to a wedding, going to work. It's a really, really wonderful knife. And Benchmade also, if you're listening to, bring back the 943 as well, will you? That would be phenomenal. I would buy another one in a heartbeat. And do it exactly like this, with the finishing of the aluminum. It's almost got like this chalky texture. I personally like that. It provides like a little grip. Some people complain about it, but the chalky texture, it doesn't come off on your hands, but it still provides just a little bit of, grit, if you want to call it that. Not really even grit, but it just makes it a little more ergonomic. And over time, it smooths out, guys. It really does. I've noticed. So it doesn't stay like that forever. So really nothing to say on either of those models. I'm not going to go into any specs. You can find out more about that if you watch some other videos of people who've already shared their thoughts. The thumb studs obviously are different. Those are like your standard Benchmade thumb stud. Axis locks are similar. I think this has a slightly different, almost like a divot in the middle rather than the 943. But I didn't put a deep carry clip on this. I've just been keeping this one stock. I thought of keeping this one stock, but I just wanted to carry it. And yeah, anyway. So what else can I say? Oop, try to do that at the same time. Still didn't. Wow. Terrible. Come on, Dave. There you go. All right. So, one other thing before I forget. Not only are the ergonomics phenomenal, you can move your thumb back here. It kind of pushes the knife forward a little bit to where the back end is coming out of the grip of your hand. But you can actually just rest your thumb right there, right outside of that hump. And it is so comfortable. It's just made for your finger. This knife is made for your finger, for your hand in general. It's phenomenal. Like I said, it would be very tough if I had to choose just one of these. They're both outstanding. They're both exceptional. I wish that the 943 was made in different knife steels when it was around. I know the initial versions, I believe, had 154 cm. And then they made the other versions, like the one you see here, in S30V. They may have had, I think they had a couple gold classes. I don't fully recall. They might have had a gold class or two that had Damascene steel, although if they have, I've never really seen them. And if they are out there, they are very, very rare. But regardless, I think that's all I wanted to share. I mean, I just love the blue and the black. It just looks so great. And I do like the blue with the black, the blue with the black even better than the green and the purple on the 940. The green and the purple is nice, but the blue and the black just, work so well together. I'll do it this way. Wow, that really bounced back. Anyway, I think that's really all I have to share on the topic at this time. Leave a message in the comments. Let me know, what is your favorite Benchmade, or do you like these? Either of these, would you like to see Benchmade bring them back? I personally would. They brought back the 710, which is a great knife. I've handled the new 710. I'm not as... I like a couple of refinements that they made. Like this original 710, the blade used to not sit down in the handle far enough. It's not deep enough to where you could actually clip your finger, like on the ends of the handle here. You can't do that with these knives. And excuse me, but the original 910 you could. The new ones you can't. I've seen that, so that was like an improvement. But I don't know. I'm not blown away by the aluminum they're doing on them. I've seen the limited edition as well, and I don't know. The thumb studs, I guess, are maybe a little more refined, a little more neat. It's still a great design. I don't know. I wasn't blown away by it. Uh, However, that doesn't mean to say that they couldn't bring back the 943 or even the 484. Look, they brought back the Adamas. The Adamas is a beast of a knife. As far as cutting goes, the edge of geometry on that I don't think is very good. It's probably gotten better than the original in D2 compared to the new Crewware. I have no real interest in that knife though, so I don't really care. So on that note, I think I'm going to wrap this video up. Thanks guys for watching. Have a great day.